all that hot weather.
Oh my.
It's such a gorgeous day.
Sorry, Tom.
They even get age.
That's also just now, right now, it's part of our hair.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you
So,
so much.
I didn't know you were doing it, but I thought, you thought it was female, that's why. Well, you'll probably get it involved, and then get it over too.
No, we should be out here by 6:40. Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Your kids are already at the point where they want. But your last. Just read the nights. He was.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, not really visiting, it's orientation.
okay, yes, yes. How long was orientation? One day? It used to be a day and a half. And did you?
We're good.
You good? Good evening, everybody, and welcome, visitors and guests and press. Welcome to this first meeting of the City Council for the month of July. And a couple small changes to the agenda, so hopefully you grabbed the agenda from the back of the room here. But I would call to order. I would ask if there's any changes or additions to the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Oh, just a second.
Second.
Take a step on that, I guess. On step. Move to, so first moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, the communications is part of the agenda, and if you wish to address the council on items that are on the agenda, just wait until that time comes up to the cycle here. And if you wish to address the city council on an item not on the agenda, please approach the microphone, give your name and address for the public record, and before discussing your item. Each individual will be granted no more than 5 minutes, and that's, this is where we listen. It's not an agenda item. We're not discussing and going back and forth, so just want to make sure you're aware of that.
If you can push the button on there, the light should turn green.
My name is.
Can you push the button on the mic, sir?
Oh, it's on, the red light on.
Push the button, it should go green.
Got it. My name is Michael Barnes, I'm the owner of Barnes Associates, and I want to recognize Scott Rose and Mr. Shannon. I don't know anybody else here, but so, I had a situation of trees out of my properties, and I got notified, and actually I got notified by the deputy that I was being sued by the city. All right, so I went to the deputy to get the paperwork for it, and it's about my trees. And I had been cutting these trees down on this property for some time. Not like all down at once, but they were dying and they needed to be down. So I got served, I think it was April 23rd, and finally got them cleaned up this last weekend. I had worked at that place the whole time, cutting down 18 trees. Now, the quarter I got said that actually said the parties are required to attend mediation prior to the trial. I had to go to trial. I couldn't go to trial because my job restricted me from doing it that particular day. So I called the city. I talked to, I can remember her first name. Well, not Meredith, but it is Bradbury, Miss Bradbury. I called her many, many times, to the point she actually recognized my voice, but nobody would call me back, and it lasted a long time. The representative for you guys is Samantha Kuntz, so I called the Dallas and Lynch office multiple times. Nobody would call me back from there either. So then Lee finally told me that the attorney that was now taking the case would have been Amy Reisner. I called her, that's the same Dallas and Lynch firm. No, she wouldn't call me back. Then they told me somebody was gone on maternity leave. Now I'm going to go to a trial less than a week, and I'm supposed to be talking to the city or this law office or whoever. Now mind you, there's 18 trees. I'm cutting them myself. There's nobody, there's no crew. I'm out there cutting these trees down. And it's 90 degrees where you guys are at the farmer's market. I've been there the whole time, except for Memorial Weekend. So I couldn't get a hold of anybody. Nobody called me back. I just want to know why. It's a $1,000 fine. I don't have that kind And the trees are gone. So who am I supposed to talk to? You know who they told me the attorney was? On a Monday afternoon, 3:07, they gave me a name. Guess who I'm on phone at 3:08? No phone call. I'm a man of my word, so I went to my job like I'm supposed to. Because I stand up and do what I say I'm going to do. And I did. But by doing that, I was unable to show up for court, and the city here has fined me the maximum. I don't have that kind of money. And it wasn't like I wasn't doing it. And it's hot. So, I just want to know why you guys wouldn't respond. Anybody. At all. Or your law firm. It wasn't 1 or 2 days. I have phone records. It goes back to about a 2-week period. In fact, Lee, I called her twice a day. She got to the point she recognized my name, my voice. I mean, she knew who I was. Who was I supposed to talk to? Who? If I'd have known you, Tom, as the mayor, I probably would have called that and said, hey, I need help here. I need to know what's going on. I guess Lee was out there taking pictures. Yeah, we see you're taking care of them. I'm sending these emails to the law firm, but nobody would call me. And it says right here, all parties are to attend mediation prior to trial. That's what I tried to do. I have nothing else. You just kind of threw me under the bus.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Barnes.
What's that?
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else here to speak to the public comment section?
Hi. Looks like it's green. So I'm Sue Astley. I live at 703 Fifth Avenue Northwest in the Ash Park Historic District of Mount Vernon. I'm here to represent the Mount Vernon Historic Preservation Commission. As you know, we are seeking to develop new design guidelines for our historic districts in Mount Vernon. The HPC formed a subcommittee of 4 members. We developed a request for proposal that was approved by the whole commission. And we identified 11 firms who have done similar work around Iowa and other Midwestern states. 5 of those firms asked for a request for proposals from us. So we may get as many as 5 proposals. We hope to narrow that to 3 or further for a final review. The design guidelines, when they're ultimately developed, will need city council approval because they'll be a part of the city business, and it will be approval for us to use them as our design guidelines in making decisions. So city council approval is crucial for these. We would really like a liaison to work with us on these design guidelines as we develop them. Certainly the liaison could be as involved as he or she wants to be, involved with subcommittee decisions and arrangements that the subcommittee is making, but we like 4 we would like them to be at 4 specific meetings. One is to meet with the full commission as the full commission makes a decision on what firm to hire. So that hiring decision, we would expect there would be no more than 3 firms at that decision, maybe as few as 1, depending on what the subcommittee does as a weeding out process. There would be a second meeting where we would talk with the consultant about the scope and the timeline for the design guidelines. We would then get a draft from the consultant, and we would like the liaison to be at that meeting. And then finally, there'll be a public meeting, and we would like the liaison to be with us during that public meeting. That would ensure that the commission is presumably informed about the whole process and involved in the whole process. It would be greatly beneficial to us if one of you would agree to serve in that particular liaison position. So I'm here to ask for your help. So thanks for listening.
Thank you, Sue, and we've got your most recent communication.
Great.
Besides emailing to council members as part of our packet for tonight. It's on the last sentence, so I hope a council member will be willing to step forward and help us with this process, and that was what we'll consider. So,
Great. Thank you.
anybody here to speak to public comment section? Public comment section of the meeting? And we'll move to the consent agenda. We've got 2 items. Anything to pull off, or are we okay with it?
I will move to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Scott, move second to Move forward with the consent agenda as presented. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. No public hearings for that ordinance approval for a third reading. And Chris, anything to add to what we've already known so far on this one?
No. And we haven't received any, unless there are other questions or concerns, I'd move approval of ordinance 5-20-2024A.
Any Scott, is there a second?
Second.
Mark, Scott and Mark. Move forward with the third reading, and that is a roll call vote, so Marcia.
Turler,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
That third reading of that ordinance does pass then. Moving to item 2 under ordinances. Same kind of principle here. Again, I understand there's no comments from the public about it.
I would move to approve ordinance 5-20-2024B.
Craig, is there a second?
Second.
I'll take Paul there. Craig, Paul, it's moved and seconded to move forward with that third reading on that ordinance. There's also a roll call vote, so if you're ready, Marcia.
Anderson,
Yes.
Turler,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
And that third reading passes. Moving on to the Cemetery Commission. This was discussion we began at the last meeting with the establishment of that organization. Are you here to speak to that by any chance, or? Okay, no problem.
Not unless you have any questions.
All right, thanks for being here.
Since there haven't been any additional, I will move to approve ordinance number 6-17-2024A.
I'll second.
Thank you, Stephanie and Scott. What we have before us is the second reading of this ordinance on the Cemetery Commission establishment. It's a roll call vote, so Marcia?
Engel,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Turler,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
And that second reading passes. Thanks for being available for questions. Resolutions, we have 2 of them. First one
Thanks
is
for all the work you did preface to this too, so thank you.
fixing a date for a public hearing on a proposal to enter into a development agreement with Community Housing Initiatives Incorporated. It's the CHI Housing Cottonwood Apartments, off the Catholic Church.
The council previously, over the course of the last 4 years, has earmarked $395,000 for this project. This is the formal agreement on probably the 25th rendition of this formal agreement back and forth between the 2 attorneys, so they are comfortable now with the language.
Have Mark and I seen this? When I looked at this, it wasn't ringing a bell necessarily. And I immediately went to, over by Glenn, and I thought that's not gonna be 30 units. So,
Yes, it is 30 units. Originally, it was going to be 45.
the ones off of Glen Street, so that is what we're
Yes.
talking about here.
Yeah,
Okay,
I was
excuse
gonna say,
me.
you have seen this already.
Okay.
And you've been.
Yes, the original resolution approving the 395,000, I think, was done prior to both, I know it was prior to March, and probably was prior to you. It took them 4 years to
I have
get,
seen that, yes.
Yeah.
took them 4 years to get approval for grants. So, but it will be 30 units, it will be on the south side of Glen Street, as I said.
And what we're doing here is just setting a public hearing to determine how that 30 or 300 plus is going to be figured out. Do we have a date?
The 15th.
Okay. Having said all that, I would move approval of resolution 7-1-2024A, setting a public hearing date for the community housing initiatives for the next regularly scheduled city council meeting.
Scott?
I'll second.
Move seconded to move forward the resolution for setting a public hearing date of July 15th. It is July 5th of last year is when, after bugging Chris about every 2 weeks about, have we got this? The morning give us the credit, the go ahead on this, and I think on July 3rd he said, no, we're still in the hopper. July 5th he called and said, yes, we got it. So in 1 year, look at how far we've gotten in that project. So,
Thank you.
Somehow, we need to give a tribute to the Housing Commission probably,
Yes.
which was, we had a form, it's kind of dissolved just because there's not any money to work with after this project, so, but we'll get to that with Grand
But
Opening.
this is a key
Yeah, this
element
is-
in what they delivered to us.
Absolutely, I mean, that's how fast it's gone.
It's progress.
Half a decade at this point, yes, I think it's progress. All that preface aside here, we've got a resolution on the floor, moved and seconded to move forward on the July 15th date. I think that's a roll call for Marcia.
Rose,
Yes.
Engel,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Andreessen,
Yes.
Turler.
Yes.
The resolution passes. In that same vein, we've had bid opening Thursday on the street project for Glen. 11 bidders.
So I'm gonna go over this briefly. Staff is gonna ask you to table this until the next meeting simply because there's supposed to be a public hearing notice. And as we sat down, JEO just sent me a text and said they didn't believe it went out. So you'll take formal action on this on the 15th, the public hearing, and then approval of the resolution. We did have 11 bidders. Engineer's estimate was, I think, 1.15 or 1.12. And the bids were, the low bid, $877,214.51. Extremely excited about it. So on the 15th, with two other projects, the sewer project and Business 30, are also set to be acted on the 15th. So we'll take action on all three of those.
So I'd like to make a motion to table this item, G2.
Okay, we've got, well, motion and second for table. Anything else to add? Otherwise, voting on that motion? Oh,
This
And
one.
that's-
that is not
Thanks,
the
roll
roll
call.
call vote.
Yep.
So there's a voice vote on that for the tabling. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This should be on to the next meeting. Now, moving to motions for approval. Marcia reminded us today that she had nothing to add for claims list items. Any questions on the claims list? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see how long the first one?
Yes, I did.
Probably because you put the fear of God in their hearts and said, the end of the fiscal year is coming and it's done.
Yes, I did. She was honest.
Is there a motion to approve the claims?
So moved. Second.
Scott Paul, move second to move forward with the claims approval. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Second item for approval is discussion consideration of administrative services agreement with Mission Square, council action as needed.
This I would ask you to approve, subject to some minor modifications that our city attorney has expressed. Nothing that would alter the agreement per se, just some language modifications that they've requested. Mission Square, again, this is was formerly the International City Managers Association. This is the introduction of what would be a public, similar to a public 401k. There is no match from the city on this. It's just a voluntary course of action if our employees would like to do this, but in an effort to have as many things, to retain as many employees as possible, this is becoming more prevalent with some of our competitors. So just looking to say a little bit before the card, if we can.
Chris, is the version that we have, the version corrected? with
No,
the-
so the version that you have does not have the changes that the attorney has suggested.
Okay.
There were
Mhm.
about five language changes that they asked for, so we can approve this subject to those modifications being made.
So the only cost to the city is the 0.55% of whatever our people earmark or?
Yeah, that is
whatever
their
the word is.
admin fee for
Okay.
operating.
Is there any admin fee on our side? I'm thinking of our payroll people needing to, is this a pre-tax kind of deal, or when does this, how does the money get to Mission Street?
It is pre-tax, but there's just really a one-time kind of setup fee,
Okay.
not really a setup fee, one-time setup for us.
Within the payroll
Yeah.
software, or whatever, and it funnels, okay, so it's not a bi-weekly, they gotta do a thing that's gonna be paying for somebody kind of, okay.
The only difference with the 457 plan is they are allowed to make changes to that more frequently than you would a 401k.
Gotcha.
I would move approval of entering into the administrative services agreement.
Keep on, is there a second?
I would second with the,
Yeah,
yeah, there you go.
you jumped the gun, sorry. With the recommended changes from our attorney. Thank you.
Okay, second.
Paul and Scott, thank you. Move second to move forward with the administrative services agreement with Mission Square. Ready to vote on that? All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is JEO, an invoice and calendar change, if I remember correctly. You met with JEO? I mean, that's not part of this agenda, that's fine. Let's deal with the invoice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the invoice is $15,867.60. Along with that is more of a kind of a forewarning that we're asking JEO to add a public meeting. That was not part of the original project. That is likely going to be in the neighborhood of 15,000. You will see that on your next agenda. However, in order to get the notification out in plenty of time so that people will be in attendance, that will go out prior to your approval.
So yeah, we're looking to have a public open house, because the ones that we've held up to this point, all for uptown businesses, we want an open house for the public to come to and give their input and feedback before we finalize this master plan. So they have that opportunity. We're looking at August 7th, the evening of August 7th. Just to make sure that we're getting all feedback and not just the uptown businesses, which is, obviously who's gonna be impacted the most, but we really do wanna put put this out to the public as well.
Are you thinking of doing this at the LBC or here?
No, here, from 5:30 to 7:30. Again,
It's right after closing time for area businesses.
Right, right. Well, and we make sure we don't do them on Thursday nights, because that's when I stay open until 8.
Yeah.
So I've messed that up before.
I move with approval of invoice number 151582.
Second. Second that?
Thank you, Paul and Craig. Move second to move forward the most recent JEO invoice. No further questions to staff. Ready to vote on that? All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And again, nice job, Lori. I think it's really important that we make sure that everyone's got input.
I appreciate that. It was yours, so.
I know you've been working really hard at that.
JEO's been wonderful, so.
No reports, no discussion items at this point. Reports of mayor, council, administrator. Mayor's report, I probably just mentioned that attended the Joe Jensen retirement party last Wednesday, I believe it was. It's a good crowd, and then at about 4:30, about this business was closing up. There was another 25 people showed up for that event, so there was a big crowd on a very hot, muggy day in the visitor center for Joe's event, and did represent Mount Vernon at the Lisbon Heritage Hall with city's update between Lisbon and Mount Vernon, and put on by legal and voters. I accept that invitation. There are probably 15 people there, so we'll present it. Any council reports? Anybody report on our committee reports? I did learn last night at the Lisbon event that there were 12 extra slots added for childcare at the LCC West. That was news to me, that the applicant staff, I mean, they got capacity space-wise, but now they've got people to staff it, to take 12 extra kids off the waiting list. City Administrator's report, anything you want to add, Chris? Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you. Just that, obviously, city offices will be closed on Thursday for the 4th of July. Garbage service on Friday is, we're being told will not be affected. It really only affects the northwest quadrant, but just want to let everybody know that their garbage is not to be delayed. At least that's what we're being told. This next council meeting will also have a shortened time period for me to be able to put a packet together, because Lori and I will be leaving Wednesday and be on through Friday in Duke for the Iowa City Managers Association Summer Conference. So staff will be meeting on Monday already to put that packet together. So I will tell you that there will be a number of public hearings on projects that are out for bid right now. So we'll be a little busier than this meeting.
Busy, but for good reasons.
Yeah.
Good reasons. Anything else? Your report? Anything else from council members? Anything else from the public? Otherwise, we are ready to adjourn. Thank you very much.
So with the health preservation.